All right, folks, what is going on? Welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. This is episode 464. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football, and today we want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons once again. I know last week I talked about, yesterday I talked about. I'm kind of confused at the play calling or what the Atlanta Falcons are trying to do, but overall, I still believe that they can still win the NFC South. It is not that far fetched. The conference, not the conference, but the division is kind of convoluted. The division is kind of convoluted, honestly. I mean, you kind of got like the Eagles and the Vikings and pretty much everybody else. So it's not that far fetched to be in and out of any type of contention when it comes to the conference. But the NFC South in general is like very, very jumbled. It's very close knit. It's like everybody's like really close. So it can you can, if you can get off 3 or 4 wins in a row, you probably could take command of this division. So the Falcons do have an opportunity to do so with these next 3 games. And we're going to talk about not just the 3 games, but just the team in general, because the Falcons are in pretty good shape, even with the terrible loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. This is your first time here, welcome. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. So hopefully you guys will go over there and find your way and navigate through to subscribe to any of those platforms. I really appreciate it. All the links are down in the description if you want to support. Let's get into this, the Falcons in general. Now, the last game, 35-17, the Bengals beat up on the Falcons. I know there was a lot of injuries, which I don't really want to get into the injuries too much, but that does have an effect on what's going on here. But even with all of that, I believe in Arthur Smith that can make things happen with this team. He's already done a lot with the piece of the team that he's have already, not using all the cap space because of dead cap money, using talent that's using a bunch of one-year deals. He's made something out of nothing or something out of very little when it comes to the Falcons. And it's pretty impressive if you ask me. Now, going up against the Panthers, the Chargers, and then the Panthers again, you have a chance here to really string off, 3 wins. And I know the Chargers are the Chargers, but with us playing at home, that bodes well. And us waiting to play them the following week where the Falcons could get a little bit more healthier, we may have a shot in that game. So when you look at the next 3 games and you see where the Panthers are playing pretty good, you see where I think his name Foreman. Oh, I can't remember his first name, but Foreman has actually made himself as a pretty stout running back for the Panthers. We had him with the Falcons at one point. For some reason, it didn't work out, and he's one of Arthur Smith's guys. So he ended up moving on to other teams, and he went back to the Titans, and then he ended up with the Panthers, and he's doing exactly what we thought he would do in a Falcons uniform. So that's one person we got to worry about. PJ Walker is another one. Their passing game looks really good because PJ Walker knows how to read a defense and throw the ball down the field and get some guys open. It's one thing that Mariota needs to do a little bit better at. And I don't think it's going to be somewhat of a shootout like it was with the Bengals, but they're going to test us. They're going to test us because of the fact that we don't have all of our secondary together. So that's going to be something that we need to look into. Looking at the Chargers, same thing. It's a very balanced team. Defense is kind of stout, and those guys could make it real difficult for the Falcons. Going back to the Panthers, I don't need to repeat that again. The Bears look like they had a little bit of confidence, but that's going to be 3 or 4 weeks down the road, and yada yada yada. Commanders, Steelers, Saints, Ravens, Cardinals, and Buccaneers to close out the season. With the type of schedule that we have, it's not a hard schedule. We have like one of the easiest schedules in the NFL. It's basically just on us to execute. We have to execute. I really believe that we need to throw the ball more because if you look at all of these teams, their secondaries on these teams aren't that dominant to the point they can't stop us. Kyle Pitts or Drake London, Alamaz Zacchaeus, and others. I don't think they can stop all of those guys. It's just on the quarterback to throw the ball. I don't care what anybody say, he wants to say, take what the defense, give us this, that, and the third. You got to make the defense, work to you. You can't just always take what they get what they give you. That sounds good because it always is a net positive on that, but you have to be in a situation where you have to keep the defense on their toes. It's not a situation where the defense is showing you something and say, "Oh, we'll just take that. Oh, we'll just take this." No, we need to move the defenses around and make them work towards us, not us working towards them. I talk about this a lot, and for the most part, with the Georgia Southern Eagles. Because Georgia Southern does a very good job of making defenses feel uncomfortable. They make defenses feel uncomfortable with the passing game, and then we come back at them with the running game. It's one of the reasons why James Madison and Old Dominion, and Old Dominion was just not equipped to stop what we're doing. Hell, to be honest, a lot of the defenses that Georgia Southern faced, they could not do much with what we're doing. We're still averaging 30, 40 points a game because we're making it uncomfortable for them. The Falcons have the weapons to do the same, offensively anyway. They have the weapons to do the same. And I don't understand for the life of me why they don't want to do it. I understand Marcus Mariota may be a liability. I understand Marcus Mariota is not throwing the ball like you want him to. He can be a little bit a problem when throwing the ball 20, 30, 35 times a game. But that's something that you got to risk. You have to risk that. I don't care what anybody, you have to risk that in this league. Either that or put Desmond Ridder in. You have to risk it. Because you're not going to win games throwing the ball 13 times. You're just not going to do it. It sounds good when you were playing against, the Browns. I listened to the press conference. It worked against the Browns. It didn't work for the Bengals. I don't think it's going to work for the Chargers. I don't think it's going to work for the Bears. I don't think it's going to work for the Steelers. I don't think it's going to work for the Ravens. I mean, you got like 5 or 6 games on the rest of your schedule that it's not going to work for. It may not even work for the Panthers twice. So you're looking at a situation where we need to be a little bit more aggressive. And I don't want to repeat the episode from yesterday, but you have to be more aggressive when it comes to actually putting the ball downfield. You have to. In the NFL, you're not going to win games like the way that they're doing it. Now, you look at all these other games. Yeah, they're 3-4 right now. That sounds good because we were able to win some games despite not throwing the ball a lot. But when teams start figuring you out, when teams start understanding what you're doing, they got film on you now. When teams start seeing what's going on, now it's time you got to make the adjustments. And once again, this is where I said, teams start figuring you out because you're constantly taking what they give you. Let's take this, let's take that, let's take this, let's take. No, you don't need to just take. We need to get those safeties on their heels. We need to get them linebackers trying to cheat up. We need to get the defensive linemen respect the fact that Marcus Mariota can run for 7-8 yards. We don't need to have it here where the linebacker say, we're going to spy, so we're going to make you throw the ball in a slant, or we're going to make you throw the ball on the out route. No, it's not. We're going to make us do anything. So when we do that, and we can get away from that, and we can start putting our presence in, or making our presence known on the football field, then you can start pulling off these wins. And that's when you can start looking at the NFC South as being attainable, which, to be honest, it is. Now, let's look at these standings real quick. NFC South, everybody's under 500. We're tied with the Falcons. We're tied with the Buccaneers at 3-4. I don't even know what the conference, they don't have it here, but what the conference records are. But I think the Panthers is right now close, or they're on top of the conference as far as conference records. So we need to find a way to we basically need to find a way to rack up some wins. And I think against the Panthers back to back, will really get us in order to take over this conference, or take over this division. Like right now, the Buccaneers are 2-1 in the division. The Panthers are 2-0 in the division. They beat the Falcons, even with the 3-5 record, they'll be at top of the division. That'll put us at 3-5 as well. And with the Panthers having a win over the Buccaneers, they'll be leading the division. That's crazy. Now, we're 0-2 in the division because of, we don't want to talk about the Buccaneers game once again. And we know what happened with the Saints. But if we can get 2 wins against the Panthers, we'll be right up there as well. So the division is not out of reach. It's just not. I don't think the Buccaneers is going to. Now, don't get me wrong. Tom Brady is Tom Brady. You can never count out a person like Tom Brady. But I don't think the Buccaneers is going to be this team that's just going to run away with this division all of a sudden. The Panthers look respectable. The New Orleans Saints are out of it. I think they're done. The New Orleans Saints are done for this season. They're going to go back and they're going to have to rebuild. They're going to have to go and find a way to get some players. They're just gonna have to do something with that because that's just not that team's just not built to do anything right now. Quarterback play is abysmal. But when you look at the Falcons are right there. We get a little bit more aggressive in passing the ball, we probably can do some things. But we have to find a way to get the ball to Drake London and Kyle Pitts. That is essentially the key to winning the NFC South. You get the ball to those guys, let Tyler Algier run the ball a little bit, balance it out, and always have the threat of Marcus Mariota is probably going to run if you give him too much time in the pocket. He can take off as well. Or even if you put Desmond Ridder in, I think if you put Desmond Ridder in, you're going to see a lot of more of an aggressive style play. I think Desmond Ridder will be more trusted in throwing the ball downfield, but right now it's still going to be Marcus Mariota. But that's pretty much your blueprint. On defense, you're going to have a bend-don't-break defense until A.J. Terrell and some others come back. I think the front seven is still, pretty formidable. We can still get at the quarterback at times. We still can do that. And as long as we can get at the quarterback and give some pressure on them, we can find ways to make the quarterback uncomfortable for him to throw errant passes. So even at 3-4, they're not out of it. They still can win the NFC South. They still can. There's a blueprint out here to do this. And I think with the fact that they haven't played Carolina twice in 3 weeks is really going to help boost them up in the division. It's going to help them it's going to boost them up in the division where they can have a couple of wins in the division, have a couple against that's going to go against the Panthers, and that's going to hurt them in the division as well. And all we have to do is continue to just play solid football within the division. The Buccaneers, we know we can beat those guys. The Buccaneers don't look as scary anymore because, basically the Carolina Panthers put out kind of somewhat of a blueprint how to beat them. Now, I know Tom Brady's going to be Tom Brady, but the rest of the team, but like I said, it's Tom Brady. You're still going to have to find a way to beat that team. The team is no joke. But looking at it from, the outside looking in, looking at the Falcons, the way they play, they're capable of beating them. They almost did before. They should be able to do it in Atlanta again. They should be able to do it again. They should be able to do it in Atlanta. And between that, the Panthers, I don't even look at the Saints right now. The Falcons have a chance to win this division. I pretty much laid it out there what they need to do, and I think they can do it. Injuries and all. Hopefully A.J. Terrell comes back off his hamstring injury. We have a couple other guys come back. I know Casey Hayward's going to be out. I think he's done. I don't know if he's done for the season, but he's going to be out for a good while. But when you have him, other guys to fill in for him, we should be able to be somewhat formidable within this division. At the least, we could be second. But we have to do something because everybody's under 500. Like I said, the way this is setting up, if you can go on a 3 or 4 win streak, you could blow this division wide open. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think, man. I mean, do you think the Falcons could still win the NFC South? I think so. I could be found on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. If you want to watch the visual side of the show, I am on YouTube and Rumble. Just search First and Frame Rates. You can find it. I'll pop right on up. Also, all the links are down in the description if you want to support in any form, way, or fashion. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. It is almost a weekend. I mean, it's Thursday already. It's been moving kind of fast. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.